So here we are, chicken's in the oven, so I'm going to take this opportunity to get prep for my rice. So basically, I've said before about cooking meat, it's quite important to let the meat rest when it comes out the oven. I mentioned before, it's going to continue to rise in temperature till it's fully cooked. And then after that, it goes through a period where all of the muscle fibres actually begin to relax, and it draws back into itself some of the juices that, because essentially what happens when you cook meat and you apply heat, if you can think of it as a towel that's wet, and the fibres, what happens is you actually compress them, the heat actually compresses them. So basically what happens is when the meat starts to cool down, when it's cooked, kind of some of them fibres begin to relax, and as they relax, as you can imagine, you squeeze in that towel. As it relaxes, it allows that towel to reabsorb, or it allows the meat to reabsorb some of that moisture, which makes it A, nicer to eat, B, more tender. So it's really important, the resting side of it. So timing the rice is important. Basically all said is I don't want to cook this too early and not give the chicken a chance to do its thing. We could actually put a glaze on the top of the chicken, it's very easy, very simple. All I'm going to use is I'm using something sweet, which I'm using apricot jam, and I'm using some apple juice, and I'm using about 100 grams of each, and I'm just going to boil them in a little pan till the 100 grams of each, till it becomes nice and sticky. And I'm going to, when the chicken comes out and it's rested, I'm going to paint it on, and that's going to give a nice glaze over the top of the chicken. So that's a kind of a fancy thing that chefs do. And you might think, oh, look how shiny and nice glaze. It's all about glazing. A different thing, we're going back to the rice. So what we've got our ingredients that are going to go into the rice. So I've got 425 grams of basmati rice. That's bog standard basmati. Normally takes 12 minutes to cook. In this particular recipe, I've kind of looked. It says about half an hour. I haven't worked that one out yet. So the timing on the rice is going to be a little bit fluid till I know exactly how long this is. I generally just cook it till it's cooked, unless with a time, I mean, normally. But if it's the absorbing method like that, it's cooked when all the liquid's gone, and it's simple as that. So that's 425 grams of rice. To that, there's going to be in the base an onion. There's going to be in the base a couple of cloves. And we're using butter to fry and flavour that. And then the addition comes at the end, which is all our little nuts and spices and things. So I've got 36 grams of nuts already in this pan. The reason I've got 36 grams, I started making the video and suddenly realised I haven't got enough. So these are pine nuts, quite expensive little blighters as well. I think they're quite hard to harvest. So should get the squirrels on the case, they're good at it, aren't they? So I need another 36, I need 14 grams in there. So that's my pine nuts. Oh, it's 20. I tell you what, we're having luxury in extra pine nuts. Brilliant. Yeah, there's no problem with that. And all I'm going to do with that is I'm actually going to start to roast my nuts. So get a little bit of colour on my nuts. Just releases some of the oil, some of the flavours. In the meantime, find myself a receptacle, because I need to measure everything else out. They burn, because of the oil content, they will burn quickly. Keep an eye on it, smell. It's one of those things that it will, if honestly, it will ruin your nuts. Best thing in the world. Don't want to ruin them. Keep them. So I want 50 grams pistachio nuts. Sounded funny, pistachio. I'm sure there's an easier way of saying it. I was going to say if I had false teeth I'd blame them, but I haven't. It's just I'm a northerner. You know what it's like. Like I say, I'm just going to really get them to the point where they're just toasted slightly, marginally. So I'm going to chop my nuts. They're pistachios. They're not getting toasted. They don't need toasting. They actually ruin the flavour. They've got a nice fresh taste to them. Now, believe it or not, I can actually smell that now. It's only been a short period. I can actually smell that. The oil starting to come out of the nuts. I want 50 grams of apricots. These I'm going to chop up. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on them blighters. Yeah, keeping an eye on them, tell you. You need to keep an eye on you as well. Between you and them, honestly, that's my life. 50 grams, so it's basically 50 grams of all the things that I've got are going to go in, right? Do you know what? Another couple of seconds. That's too many. That's too many. That's just on. I tell you what, that's one for there, one for me. There's the apricots. Stick them on there. And the last one, that's enough. That's enough. I daren't do any more. And what I'll do, last one, yeah, 50 grams of cranberries, dry cranberries. Now I thought these would be horrible in it, but actually it really makes it. But the other thing as well about what I find with dishes like this, it's the colour of things that go in. And if the colour looks nice, a bit too many in there. Like I say, the 50's a rough thing. Don't worry about it. There's a bit more, a bit extra. It'll be fine. And the other thing, by the way, when you do put nuts and stuff in a pan like that, and you think, oh, they're just cooked, just be aware. You take them off and leave them in the pan, and the pan's still on. They still keep cooking. So that's just a little one to be aware of. So I'm just going to roughly give me pine nuts a little run through. To be fair, do you know what? They're not pine nuts. I know they're called pistachios. I'm just going to give them a slight crack with this, I think, because I know what's going to happen. It's like anything else. You start trying to chop something that can't be chopped, and the thing goes all over the shop, which we don't want. You start having nuts firing out the windows and all sorts. I know, I've done it. So these are going to get a rough chopping as well. Here we go. Just a rough chop through. Just bunch them together. Give them a little rough chop through there. There's nothing too fancy. Let's run my knife through the other side as well. What you've got to kind of think, this is going to run through the rice. And what we don't want is we don't want huge bits of this and small like little nuts and pieces. We kind of want to try to make everything as even as we can, within reason. Even within reason. There we go, that's somewhere there. And that'll fluff through the rice and that'll all be nice. So there we go. That's our nuts and our fruit ready for the rice, which is all good. So the final thing, and then I'll kind of just chop the onion and get that ready, is pomegranate. I don't know if you've ever kind of got pomegranate seeds out of pomegranate before. It can be a bit of a pain, a bit tricky, but this is a little method which makes life a lot easier. So I'm just going to cut the pomegranate in half, all the way through there. I'm going to get rid of my knife, and that's a funny looking one inside. I've never seen one as like as much white stuff. Anyway, that be as it is. So I'm going to, I've got half pomegranate. I'm going to put it on my hands like that. I'm going to get myself a wooden spoon, and I'm going to wipe that off the top because that's, and I don't need this now, so that can go. And I'm going to get myself a wooden spoon, and I'm going to hold that with my fingers open like that, and I'm just going to tap it in the bowl, and within a very short space of time we're raining pomegranate. It's actually quite fun to do, to be fair. I know what you're thinking. Probably think you should try that on the back of your head. I know. Tell you what, there'll be my brain cells coming out in my ears if I did that. There's not many left, to be fair. So here we go, and then just keep on tapping and tapping. It's not particularly, as I thought. It's more full of the. I'm wondering why it's not coming out. It's because there's none left in there. Well, there's only a few. But yeah, not particularly that full that one. So anyway, that's probably enough pomegranates. So that's going to go over the top. I tell you what, maybe there's a few more. I'll use the other half. Not all of it, but just to show it wasn't a fluke. And eventually, you know, to start with, you think there's not many coming out of there, and honestly, you'll have loads. There's probably enough, more than enough now, but keep going. Might as well. Might as well. And there we go. Years ago, you know, when I was a kid, I mean, you didn't think of seasonality and stuff as a kid, but you always seem to get these a certain type of year. And there was like a little van that used to come round. I think back in the day they used to sell. There's all sorts. I think it was like for you know, mums who couldn't afford things, and used to sell shoes and all sorts. But they used to have fruit on there. And one of the things they used to carry at a certain time of the year was pomegranates. And I used to buy one if I ever had any money, which wasn't very often. I remember you used to take them out with a pin. It used to take forever. Anyway, that's reminiscent. I need this back now. So I'll give me knife a little run through. All I'm going to do, like I said, this is just me prep. I'm going to chop an onion. Not like, I don't think you probably need to see this, to be fair, but I've lost my little bin, but I'll find it, not a problem. And all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to give it a reasonably fine chop. You know, it doesn't have to be, you know, half a millimetre or anything like that. But yeah, like I say, with anything rice-wise, you kind of want the onion to be at least as small as the grains of rice, and not big big bits of onion in the rice. So there we are. Not particularly the best part of it, but here we are. Let's just chop through there. So, like I said, just fine-ish. Nothing major. Nothing. There we go. That'll do that. Like I said, it's a medium-sized onion, medium to large. So, to be fair, probably won't need the whole thing. But saying that, there's a lot of rice, so it's certainly not going to harm anything I've been in there. More flavour. It's just a base. That's what onions do. It gives you kind of a base flavour to it. And as well, I think it's one of those things pretty much used in every cooking cuisine. I think that I'm aware of uses. Well, yeah, I know you're going to find an exception. There's always an exception. But that's it. Any big bits, just give them a little chop through. But that's fine. Like I say, I'm not wanting to be too precise, but it's fine enough for what I need. So that is pretty much, we're all prepped. I'm just going to clean everything down, and then we'll start cooking the rice nearer the time. It'll be seconds to get that shot in, and then kind of we're at the end game of assembling and that. But it's all in the prep. It is all in the prep. Get the prep done. Get your timing right. Job's a good one, and that's it. So tea's well on its way. So brilliant. So see you nearer the time.